an artist, do you think that you need to have professional training to also assist with your journey? Do you think that goes hand in hand? Do you think you going to college for 4 years and you waited 5 years until you did it, right? Do you think that was did that help you in to where you are right now if you didn't go to college?
I believe that if you're an artist, that's something that comes naturally to you, but you could be the best painter in the world. That doesn't mean you know how to use oil paints. It doesn't mean you know how to use your brush properly. Yeah, I was great in school, but it wasn't until I got to college that I was like, oh, there's like a step-by-step process on making this. So I'm not going to be a complete mess in the middle. Like there's a way to organize my thoughts. There's a way to organize my art. There's a way to come to it with education that allows it to come out in the other end as an award-winning piece. Like until you refine that skill and you put knowledge behind it, you don't become a pro. You don't become a master at it.
Mm.
Yeah. And so like, and that's the best thing, honestly. Like you want to be able to step into a room and, you know, for example, like here, I'm not nervous talking to anybody because I have my education backing me up. I have my knowledge behind my art. So any question anyone throws at me, I know I'm prepared for because education gives me that confidence.
Somebody else?
My name's Shahani. I'm a host and segment producer for One TV. Next week we're starting to like prep for our film challenges coming up, and I was kind of wondering how you like. Do you have any tips or advice on how to like keep a script like kind of compact and short, like within like that 2 to 3 minute mark, which is like our goal? Because as a script writer, I find it kind of difficult to really shorten stuff.
Yeah.
It's been an issue in the past as well.
100% an issue, I think, for all writers. My films that I do, usually what I'll do is I'll write the whole thing. I will do the word vomit where I'll have my character like have a whole monologue type of a thing, and then I'll edit from that. So I'll read through it and I'll say what's not important, you know, like I don't need her to tell him that she's mad at him. I'm pretty sure it's obvious by looking at her that she's pissed off at this character. Where it's really just about keeping it minimal and trusting your audience. Like, you know, you need to believe that whoever you're showing this to is smart enough to be able to just watch and pick up on human emotion and be able to understand what the story is without too much explanation. And that's usually when it's more impactful too, because you give your audience a chance to really like settle in, and instead of having to listen, they're just watching and taking in the story.
Good advice. Good advice. Go ahead, Amari.
Hi, I'm Amari. I'm the senior producer. My question is, what is your creative process like?
Ooh. A lot of meditating, for sure. When I meditate, I let my creative thoughts kind of like filter through themselves, and you know, whatever's more relevant will stick out to me more. And then from that, I will, you know, make up mood boards. I think mood boards are extremely helpful for the kind of content that we create. It's really important just to know what your story is. Because if you're making art and you're really not sure what the narrative is or what kind of messaging you're trying to tell, then it's not like a full cohesive piece of content.
I like that. I like that meditation part.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Very important.
What is like you said she was talking about the creative process, like when you open like the floodgates, as you say, like what, like I know it was like how does like the motivation to, like sometimes when you be like I don't feel like doing that right now, and you be like yeah, but you do it, but you're not into it, you know what I'm saying?
You know, a lack of motivation is just really more of just needing time to meditate, honestly. Like it always comes back to just finding your center and like realizing what your goal is. And a lot of times, you know, I tend to not gravitate towards something or put energy into it because I don't have a full interest in it, and it doesn't like, you know, speak to me, which is fine on my personal art side. Like the art I make, I'm cool procrastinating with myself, because that's just my process. Like I need to let it marinate.
I think that's a good point in terms of allowing things to sit. That's why you can't really just kind of like just create overnight. All right. You can't wait to the last minute. You kind of, it takes you a while to kind of be creative.
Yeah.
then you want to kind of like give yourself some time for that to happen, as
Yeah.
opposed to just kind of keep on putting it off because the
Yeah.
deadline might not be changing.
Yeah.
As our time's winding down, I want to get this question out before anything else. What advice would you give these young filmmakers, or even just students that are in the Aspects program, their senior year? What advice could you give aspiring creators, whether they're creating video, whether they're creating stuff on camera, taking pictures, whatever their creativity, what their passion is? What advice would you give these young generation Xers right now?
I will start by saying go forward with kindness. That's something that we're extremely lacking. And we need more creators there who come with a kind heart. You know, like there's people in your class right now who 10 years down the line, as far as you know, you could either be working for, working with, creating content with, like, so it's like you really never know who's going to come up again from your past that may help benefit you. So just always, you know, come to the table with kindness with people because it's what's going to make you stick out. Just be a participant in your life. That's what I'll say. Be a participant in your life.
I like that.
Yeah.
Gotta tweet that. Any other questions before we let Peter go and before we let you guys go?
Yeah. Did you ever feel like giving up? Like, did you ever feel like this isn't going anywhere? I think I'm gonna just do something else.
Usually when that moment will come up, that's when I start to kind of play, you know, devil's advocate in my head, and that saboteur comes out and tries to pick on me. But at the end of the day, if you have a confidence in your art and a belief in your drive, there's no reason why you can't become successful at what you want to do. You have that little voice in you that knows what you should be doing, and just listen to that.
Any other questions before we let him go? Don't want to. A great opportunity, learning some really good stuff here.
After high school, you said that you traveled and you made connections. Like, how did you go about making those connections?
When I was in Europe for 2 months, by the end of it, I was trying to find work because I didn't want to come home. So I was like really thinking that if I got like a job somewhere in Germany or something, like I could just stay, but that's not what happened. So the traveling stuff was like more personal. But when I got home, I started a free gig doing PA work for like a Columbia thesis film. From just being someone who was, you know, first up to bat to do something for someone, or to go run and get the water, or, you know, whatever it was, and coming to the table with kindness, like I stuck out and I got asked to work on something else.
Because the more experience you have, the more confidence you'll have. You won't get confidence unless you have the experience.
Yep.
And so when you have the experience, you'll be confident enough to say, I am worth $400 a day. And that you know that you're going to give them not only $400 of your time and your effort and your creativity, you're going to give them even more than that. And you're confident in your work. You can't go out there and say $400 a day and you're not confident in your art or in your passion. Because if you throw yourself out there and you cannot produce that, you will never get $400 a day again. But the thing is, what I like what you said, and I've done this myself, is that as a young artist, you're coming in, yes, you'll do things for free, all right, to get your foot in the door, to make the connections and be kind so they'll remember who you are, all right, the little things, that's what they're looking for. That's what internships are, all right. Everybody thinks that they're going to just jump out here and just become the next Steven Spielberg or Spike Lee. That's not going to happen, all right. Every actor or actress thinks they're going to land that leading job, all right. That's not going to happen. You're just going to kind of, you might come in as an extra, and then from the extra you might have a walk and a talking part, right? And then the director just kind of liked how you just did your thing. And know that it is a journey, and eventually as a journey, you know, it takes a while to get there, all right. And sometimes you make wrong turns, sometimes there's obstacles on that journey, but you have to sometimes stop and look back and say, wait a minute, where am I at in my journey? Am I still just driving around in circles? You ever get lost and you just don't want to, sometimes you just got to stop and get your bearings together, all right. But the journey is, you got to enjoy the journey as well. Right?
You got to enjoy it, but you also have to respect it. Like,
Yeah.
if I was to ask all of you right now to think back on your life and think about all the things that you were like, damn, why'd that have to happen? If you think about it and you think about what that opened the door to,
Mm,
and you see it more as like a domino effect leading you up to where you are now, it just shows you that everything does happen for a reason. You know, everything will lead to something else that's good, because every negative has to come with a positive, and it is just a matter of how you utilize it. I don't think I could handle anything else outside of this moment because I'm not prepared for it, and I need to just chill. It's a matter of finding patience. Life has a plan for you, and nothing will happen to you that it's not supposed to.
good, 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 good. The people that are still on the call, I know this, y'all could probably stay here forever, right? Because this to me is the purest of education possible. All right. When you get a chance to meet somebody and talk to somebody that is doing what you're trying or aspiring to do, and to kind of sit underneath that person. And so I totally encourage you. And this is what my whole method of teaching has always been about: teaching and mentoring, teaching and mentoring. All right, giving back all the experience I had as a professional, coming back to teach and educate the next generation of filmmakers. I've been doing this now for 17 years. All right. And I know I'm confident in what I'm doing now. And I used to always not have that confidence as well. But every year I get more confident when I bring alumni back and I listen to them speak and they sound like me. They finally, everything that I was telling them when they were younger, and it was just going in one ear and out the other, and I felt like I was just going off and going on a tangent, the whole nine. But I'm giving you everything I have, all right, so I can see your success, so I can follow your journey. So your journey does not stop at Franklin High School. It's just the beginning. And all my job here is to do for this particular time. You said everything happens for a reason. I was placed in your life. Peter today was placed in your life for a purpose to help add to your journey. That's why you're still hanging on this phone call as opposed to going to your next class. All right. Because the people that are still on, it's like something that we are talking about, something is kind of making you like, yo, it's feeding my spirit. It's feeding my passion. It's feeding my determination to kind of continue to move on. All right. And you can't get this. This is the best type of education. So, whatever you plan on doing with your life, find someone that's already doing it. All right. And sit underneath them and listen and
Mhm.
talk and take the criticism, take the suggestion, take whatever they have to say, because why? They have been there. Don't be like me. I used to look at my dad and be like, you're old, you don't have nothing to say, you don't understand nothing. And this man was the wisest man ever. All right. And he mentored so many people. And I didn't even know he mentored people until the day he died. And all these people came to the funeral and was like talking about, if it wasn't for your dad, I wouldn't be a doctor that I am today. If it wasn't for your dad, I wouldn't be the husband that I am for today. If it wasn't, and I'm like, what this man did? And the same stuff that he was trying to give to all those kids, he was trying to give me, and I wasn't even listening.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, you're old, you don't know what's going on. I was fighting, I was rebellious, the whole nine, right? And so I was determined as I got older that I'm going to get back and try to mentor as many people as I can to encourage you to continue to follow your dream. All
Mhm.
right. And I truly believe this is just the start of wherever you're going. All right. And yes, we're in a pandemic. Yes, it's crazy right now. Yes, it's a remote learning, the whole nine. You're like, don't get caught up in that, because we're going to come out of this. And when we come out of it, there are going to be people that are going to be successful. Peter, you're going to be successful because you're continuing to work. So when you come out of this pandemic, if you're working now in this crazy time, just think what happens when we get back to normal.
Yeah, and then with the whole mentor aspect, um, 100% find mentors, but make sure that they're mentors who respect you. And just because you look up to someone does not mean that they're a mentor. Because if they're
Right.
going to then just ask you in return to just get you coffee, but never ask you your opinion, never
Hmm.
ask you what you think, never ask you what you would do if you were doing this, never ask you where you want to, like, then that's not a mentor. That's just someone who's taking advantage of your eagerness to get somewhere. And that's when people will start wasting your time. So just be aware of that.
Very good, 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 good. So it's 10 o'clock. We're going to let Peter go. Y'all got Peter's email. please feel free to, hook him up, watch some of his stuff. All right. And continue to build these relationships with these alumni. And you'll be seeing Peter again, I'm quite sure.
No,
All
I
right.
honestly I love coming and talking to you guys. I think I do this every year, but I'm definitely down to do it more.